skeptical. The reason is this because people are having, they are very poor as such. As a result, they were not happy by being just enough. As a result, they thought that we have to find a solution for this. Now, hence they were very skeptical because of this. As a result, they had a myth. What is that myth? If you are earning money by unfair means, you can be good, you can be happy, even if you are earning money by unfair means. Now, how you can be happy by earning unfair means? Say, for example, your soul will be unhappy even if you are earning money by unfair means. But what you have to do is, if you are donating to God, they created this concept. If you are donating to God, then your sins will be abolished. As a result, they feel happy. So they were very skeptical about the so-called justice, and that is why Plato has spoken about the concept of justice. Now, so it is very essential for Plato to why it is very essential for Plato to establish the virtue of ethics. He now the biggest problem is to establish that justice is the virtue. He has to re-establish this concept because people are skeptical about justice now. Now there is one person called Cephalus. Cephalus. He's an old man. He's a wealthy man. Now he is an old man who represented conventional theory of justice. Conventional theory of justice. He always believed in conventional theory of justice. What is conventional theory of justice? Earn money by any means. If you want to feel happy, donate to God, and then you'll feel happy. This is called conventional theory of justice, and then he thinks that this is justice. Now, as Plato discusses this through dialectics, dialectics means through dialogue. Now, he makes Socrates to come in here. Now, Socrates asks, there will be a debate between Socrates and Cephalus. There will be exchange of ideas, and that is called dialectics. Now, Socrates asks the questions like, what do you feel about the wealth which you possess? What do you feel about the wealth you possess? About your wealth. Then Cephalus answers for this question of Socrates. This man answers that wealth gives me happiness. It is good life. He is very leading a very good life and satisfied life. He says Cephalus answers this, and he says that he can die peacefully. He can die peacefully because it, money or wealth is allowing him to be just. This is what Cephalus answers. Money is allowing him to be just. Now, what Cephalus means to say that I am going to die peacefully or it is making my life just. What does this mean? Cephalus is of the opinion that with money I will not have any dues. If there is no dues, then then that life is called a good life. As per Cephalus, this is the concept. That is why they said money is justice. So justice here means, as per Cephalus, it is a virtue. Why it is a virtue? Because it is allowing him to die peacefully. What do you mean by dying peacefully? This is fulfilling your duty. Fulfilling your duty. What is your duty? The money that you have taken is your duty to repay back that. Now, Socrates asks him the next question following that. So, they have created a context here, thesis statement, and synthesis. Now, look at what the question is. This is thesis statement. What do you feel about wealth? Cephalus has given an answer. It makes me jest. Why jest? Because I can clear my dues. Now, Socrates poses the second question based on this logic. Think that you have borrowed a weapon from a person. Think that you have borrowed a weapon from a person and you have to repay back. But when you are repaying, think that this person's mental condition is not good. He has become a madman. And there is every chance for this madman to misuse the weapon. Now, will Cephalus be correct to return that weapon to this mad person? This is what he asks. Now, what does this mean? If you are returning the weapon when the person is in a very when a person is very healthy, then that is justice. But when the person has become mad, if you are giving him the gun or the weapon back, then that makes him harmful. Why? He is going to kill people. Now, this is how they say that your justice is unjust. Now, your justice, what you are thinking, repaying up to your debts is unjust. Repaying of justice is unjust. This is what he said to Cephalus. Now, there is one more person I said, Polymarchus. Polymarchus is the son of Cephalus. Cephalus Kodugena. Now he comes in support of his father. Now he tries to explain the views of Cephalus and he suggests that paying dues means giving what one deserves. He answers very tactfully. Paying debt means not whatever you have given. What does this mean? If the fellow is mad, you should not give that. So that is justice as per Polymarchus. Now look at this. Now they are synthesizing the truth. First is Cephalus versus Socrates. Second one is Polymarchus versus Socrates. In the first thesis statement, they are discussing about what is justice. They have come to the conclusion that if you are giving the so-called weapon to a madman, that doesn't become justice. As a result, they've entered into the second concept, and in that second concept, he is saying that not paying debts but giving what one deserves is the so-called justice. What does this mean? Giving what one deserves. Being good to your friend is justice. Harming your enemy. Harming your enemy is justice. Which means don't give the weapon to the person who might kill you. Give it to the friend who will have a secure life. Now the next, this is what this person has said, Polymarchus. Now again the problem that Socrates faced in this is, or Socrates said is, by knowing, or Socrates asked the next question, how can you define a person as your friend and a person as your enemy? is there any chance that you might commit mistake while you are choosing your friends and enemies? Because today's friends can become tomorrow's enemies, tomorrow's enemies can become day after tomorrow's friends. So he said that can't you commit or don't you commit mistake when you are choosing who is your friend and who is your enemy? So what Socrates said is doing good to your friend is not the answer. Doing good to all is the answer for this. So based on this, Socrates wants to propound one thing. What is that? Socrates propounds the theory or features of justice. The first feature of justice is desirable for everyone because justice is virtue. The idea of justice means justice cannot involve the principle of harming anyone, no harm to anyone. This is justice. Now, this have universal application. Based on the discussion with Cephalus and Polymarchus, he has propounded this theory. Who? Socrates. Now there is one person called Thyrasimachus. Now he is the chief antagonist or chief critic of Socrates' idea of justice. Now this Thyrasimachus, he was a sophist. I already discussed who is a sophist, right? He belongs to sophist tradition. As a result, there will be huge antagonism between the so-called Thyrasimachus and the so-called this person called Socrates. So why sophists encourage people to earn money? Sophists encourage people to have power. According to sophists, money is power, money is source of good life, power is source of good life. So they are also known as nihilist or nihilism. What is nihilist? They are not bothered about what is the right way or wrong way. They are bothered about what is the conclusion that it is going to get. Whether you are going to earn money through correct way or wrong way, ultimately money is going to make you happy. Hence, earn it either by doing something wrong or something right, irrespective of it. So they are called as nihilists. Sophists are called nihilists. Why they say earn money anyway, right way or wrong way? Because they say that what is right and what is wrong have nothing to do with nature. It is all conventional. It is decided by society. Sophists say that it is decided by society. What is right and what is wrong is decided by society. So what they say is anything which benefits the society at large, anything that benefits the society at large can be considered as correct. If something is not benefiting the society at large, if society is, if anything that is not benefiting the society at large, then that is called evil. As per them, this is evil. Now, irrespective of, so what sophists say, they are nihilists. How I entered into sophists? By discussing this person called Thyrasimachus, because he belongs to sophists. Sophists are called nihilists. What do I mean by nihilists? They are not bothered about the way in which they are going, about the so-called true or morals or immorals. They will just look at the result, whether it is making everyone happy or not. So they say that What is good and what is bad is a social construct. Why it is a social construct? If it is benefiting majority in the society, then it is called truth. If it is not resulting in the good of the society, it is called false, or it is called as immoral. Hence, they say that society decides what is right and what is wrong. There was another protagonist called Protagoras. This is another person, Protagoras. He says that man, he is also a sophist tradition. He also belongs to this tradition, and he says that man is measure of everything. Man is measure of everything, which means if it is making happy, then it is going to be the ultimate truth or ultimate moral things. So what does this mean? These fellows are giving importance to individual over society. In that society, if majority of the individuals are satisfied, then he says that it is just. Now, so what is Thyrasimachus' definition of justice? He says that justice is in the interest of stronger, in the interest of stronger. Justice is in the interest of stronger. What do you mean by stronger? Might is right. So what does this mean? It is okay if you are unjust if it is earning you money. That is what simply it means. So what he says is might is right is the concept as for Thyrasimachus, and these are the fellows who have propounded theory called might is right. With your might, if you are earning money, then that is going to be right irrespective of whether it is ethical or not. So he is saying that Thyrasimachus is saying that those who are in power, those who are might, they will define what is right. So the stronger persons defines justice. Stronger means those who are in power. Now those who are in power keeps on changing, like monarchy, aristocracy, democracy. So depending upon that, so what Thyrasimachus said is justice depend upon the ruling class who is in rule. As a result, justice depends upon the leaders, but not it is universal. Hence, if you go to Pakistan, Pakistan will have one type of justice, India will have one type of justice, America will have one type of justice. Why? That depends upon the system of government in which it is present. Monarchy, aristocracy, democracy, depending upon to which feature you are belonging, you'll have the so-called justice as per Thyrasimachus. Hence, he says that justice depends upon the ruling class who is in the rule. Justice is conventional and it is not universal. So, this concept of Thyrasimachus is known as radical form of justice. Very radical because he is a sophist and he has challenged the so-called traditional mode of justice. Because what is the traditional mode of justice? Justice is something which is uh, virtue as per traditional modes. So Thyrasimachus held that justice is interest of the stronger, is the interest of stronger. Who is strong? One who is in power, the ruling class. So whatever the ruling class says, that is going to be justice. Hence, as ruling classes differ from society to society, from place to place, justice is not a universal, right? It is not transcendental, which means it cannot be present everywhere in the similar form. Hence, justice is just like a convenience, as per Thyrasimachus. This is what he has said. So this is can be considered as these two persons, and in order to support these two persons, you have individuals like Protagoras, who clearly said that man is the end of everything, hence in the good of the man lies in the good of the man lies the so-called good of the society. This is what they have propounded. As a result, it appears that both Protagoras as well as uh, this person, Thyrasimachus, both are speaking about the so-called uh, justice is something in the interest of the ruling class. Hence, it is not universal. Now, look, it said that it is universal, but this person is saying that this is not universal. This is one concept that is being deferred here. No harm anyone. This is what Socrates said, but this fellow is saying that no harm to the majority. It is virtue. No, justice is not a virtue. Justice is changing from society to society. It is only might is right concept. This is what they say. So he said that Thyrasimachus said that justice is not what this fellow Socrates has said, but justice is something which is created by the man in the society. For example, Thyrasimachus says, in a democracy, freedom of speech and expression is right and justice. But if you apply this theory of freedom of rights, such as freedom of speech and expression in a monarchical state, in a totalitarian state, then that is wrong. Why? You might have right to freedom of speech in a democratic country like India and USA, but you cannot have the same thing in North Korea. Why? The leaders are different there. As a result, Thyrasimachus holds that don't consider that justice is relevant to India in the same way it is relevant to North Korea. It is not universal, it is just regional phenomena. Don't think that you can apply the same justice in India, US, and North Korea. North Korea has its own justice because the system of government is different there. The system of government here is different. Hence, he says that justice is in the interest or justice is in the idea of the strong. So the whatever the strong believes is the justice, that is the justice as per this theory. Again, this appears like very true when you look at from the modern day societies. So it has its own relevance because people think that Thyrasimachus' concept of justice is more or less present everywhere. Now, how Socrates responds to Thyrasimachus, that is what it was the thing now, because it is very difficult to counter this argument what Thyrasimachus has given. As a result, it becomes very difficult for Socrates to counter this person. Then, how did the so-called Socrates answer this person? If you look, it is very difficult to answer this question because Socrates has said justice is universal, but what Thyrasimachus is saying is practical. Right? Now, what is the approach of Socrates here? Now it is very difficult to counter this person because whatever he is telling is speaking something reality. In practice, whatever he is telling is reality. Now how Socrates now propounds this or approaches to his theory. Socrates is an idealist. So being an idealist, he says that, see, Thyrasimachus is saying that justice is whatever is present, whatever it is appearing to him. Just like he is comparing India, Pakistan, North Korea, and he is saying that justice is this. Now, idealists don't believe these things. What idealists say is, irrespective of your place, whatever you see is not the correct thing, but what ought to be is correct. Ought to be. మనకు కనిపించేదే జస్టిస్ అనుకోకూడదు. మనకు కనిపించకుండా ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా యూ షుడ్ నో వాట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ఈజ్ ద అల్టిమేట్ కరెక్ట్నెస్. సో వాట్ ఆట్ టు బి రాదర్ దెన్ వాట్ ఈజ్. యు ఆర్ లుకింగ్ అట్ వాట్ ఈజ్, డోంట్ లుక్ అట్ వాట్ ఈజ్, లుక్ అట్ వాట్ ఆట్ టు బి. ఏముంటే బాగా ఉండును అనేసి మనం ఆలోచించాలి. దెన్ దాట్ బికమ్స్ జస్టిస్ యాజ్ పర్ దిస్ ఐడియలిస్ట్. నౌ what Socrates says is reality, you are saying that is reality in the interest of strong, or is justice is in the interest of strong? That is what you said. If you are supporting the strong, then you are saying that you are correct. But justice is not that. Justice is not who is in power. Justice is righteousness. Irrespective of who is in power, doing the right. Justice is what is right and not what is might. If you are saying that if I am going to take away the life because of your power, then that is not right. Even if you are not powerful, doing the right thing is known as justice as per these people. So the proper definition of Socrates' justice is righteousness. Righteousness. For sophists, why this is right? Irrespective of the fellow who is in might, you have to do right to each and everyone. Then that becomes the so-called justice for them. But the same thing won't apply to sophists because they are just looking at what is. According to Socrates, man is not the measure of anything. Man is not the measure of everything. It is the society which should be the measure of everything. Right? Individual does not have any priority. Individuals might be happy, but that doesn't mean society will be happy. If the society is happy, then individuals will be happy. That is what they have said. Now these people are saying that justice is might is right. Now society, how they are saying individual is the everything. But what he is giving, individual is not everything, but it is man, society which is everything. So why society is everything? Because society is whole and individuals are a part of it. Society is like the body, individuals are like parts of the body. Say for example, individuals are like hands, legs of the body. And if the body is not present, what is the use of this hand and leg? Right? If there is no life, you cannot consider a leg without a body. This is not a leg. So what they say is, without society, without whole, there is nothing called part. Hence they say that you are considering that individual is everything, but individual is not everything, but society is everything. Hence what is ultimately benefiting all the sections in the society is correct. Righteousness of the society is correct, not might is correct. I'll explain further this. So this is saying that, so in order to counter Thyrasimachus, what Socrates said is whether people should obey all the laws, whether rulers can commit mistakes, whether ruling is an art or not. Now you are saying that Thyrasimachus is saying that whatever might says is right, which means whoever is ruling, whatever they are making, that is right. This is what they have propounded. Who? Thyrasimachus. Now Socrates asked him the question. What is that question? Okay, you are saying might is right. Is there any possibility of this rulers to commit mistakes? Can rulers commit mistakes? This is the question that he asked. Because you are saying that whatever rulers are saying is correct. So for this answer, yes, at times rulers can commit mistakes. Hence, not in all situations rulers will be correct. Not in all situations. Hence, Socrates said that your concept that might is right is wrong. The reason is it is not applied in all situations. So, if it is not applicable to all situations in your society itself, then how can you say that it is right? Say, for example, depending upon the mood of the ruler, if you are saying that, okay, you have to arrest this person, you should not arrest this person, then based on that mood, you cannot say that there is justice. Hence, he says that justice is not might, but justice is right. Righteousness is justice, not mightiness. This is first theory that has been propounded by Socrates on justice based on this argument. The second question that he asks is to Thyrasimachus, what he asks is, do you think that ruling is an art? Do you think that ruling is an art? And for this, Thyrasimachus says, yes, ruling is an art. Adoka kala. Palinchadam anedi oka kala. Right? Now this makes them to discuss about concept of art. Now, according to Socrates, now what Thyrasimachus is saying is, ruling is an art. Now this art is not for the artist. This rule is not for the ruler, but it is for the interest of others. What does this mean? The rule is not for the rulers. The rule is for the people. If the ruler is happy, don't think that the rule is happy. If the people are happy, then it means your art is correct. So, whenever you are drawing something, it is not for your sake, but if you want to project it, it is in the interest of others. Just like art is in the interest of others, rule is in the interest of public. Hence, he says that it is in the happiness of the people lies the happiness of the king. Then that is called a just rule. And Socrates goes on to give an example like a doctor. A skill of a doctor is not for the benefit of doctor, but for the benefit of patients, right? Because he has to reveal or relieve the patients from sufferings. So a skill of a teacher is not for the teacher, but for the interest of his students. Thus he tells that if rulership is an art, it cannot be in the interest of the ruler, it has to be in the interest of the so-called people. So again, he says that two things. One thing that he said is justice is not right because Justice is not made because at times these fellows can commit some mistakes. As a result, justice is right. Second thing is justice is in the interest of the people. The third thing that he asks Thyrasimachus is whether ruler should obey the whether people should obey the rulers or not. This is the third question that he asked. People should obey ruler or not. Further, Thyrasimachus says, yes, you have to obey the ruler. Why you have to obey the ruler? Because he is the mighty person. Now, he says yes. Again, Socrates points that it is contradiction. Why it is contradiction? When we obey the law, it is as if we are working in the interest of the king. However, according to Socrates, we obey the law because it is interest of our own. So if you are obeying a person means the person who made law has his vested interest. So never obey the law for others. Obey the law for yourself. If it is in your interest, then people obeys the law. People obeys the law. Why? Because as long as it is interest in the society, or as long as it is fulfilling the interests of the society, the law is going to get fulfilled, but not the ruler. So, for example, Socrates' life is an example for this. Socrates drunk hemlock on the basis of his belief that citizens should obey the law and the law is in the interest. Maybe we are ignorant that we think that the law is in the interest of the king. What does this mean? See, actually, he asked three questions. One question is whether the so called rulers can commit mistakes or not. Yes, rulers can commit mistake. The second question is what is, do you think that ruling is or not? Yes, ruling is or not. If it is or not, it has to serve for the public. If he is committing mistake, then might is not right. So the third one is whether people should obey the ruler or not. If they are obeying the ruler thinking that it is helping the king, then it is not justice. People obeys law only them when there is self interest on the public. Why self interest? For example, say for example, if the law is prohibiting you from killing other persons, then people will obey the law because it is going to save not only others life but even your life. So he says that justice is something where people has to accept the law and they have to imbibe the law for the good of everyone. So this is what he proposes and contradicts Thyrasimachus. No, Thyrasimachus does not show any interest in this debate with Socrates. Thyrasimachus suggests that it is no use to understand and what is justice. రైట్, ఇంక ఈ డిస్కషన్ జరుగుతుంటుంది. థైరాసిమాకస్ అనేవాడు ఫెడప్ అవుతాడు. He asserts that life of an unjust man is superior and the life of just man is inferior because the life of unjust man is having money and everything. He is living a rich life. As a result, he says that he is in a better position, but the life of unjust man is not better. So Thyrasimachus leaves the debate saying that look, whatever you say, look at the society, your theories are wrong. Why your theories are wrong? Fellow who is rich is enjoying his life, fellow who is poor is not enjoying his life. Now this makes Socrates to have one more debate. What is that debate? Or what is Socrates thinking now? No, if the justice is not making people happy, then what makes them happy? What exactly is happiness? That is what the question is as per as Socrates is